I think Nintendo essentially just gave permission to publishers and developers across the board to raise the prices of their games. If you have been living under a rock, Nintendo just unveiled the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct, where they talked about, all of the things that you can do with the system as well as the games that go with the system. And I have to say that as far as Nintendo Directs go, it was probably one of the best Nintendo Directs that Nintendo has put out in years. It's not the best that they've ever done, but it's up there without a doubt. And I was really, really excited for it. And I think that so were a lot of other people. And the reason that so many people were looking at this Nintendo Direct and saying, holy cow, this is fantastic, is because they surgically removed all of the things that would piss us off, namely the price of the Nintendo Switch, their weird digital games, physical game stuff, and the price of their games. So today I want to talk about how Nintendo's changing the price of their games is effectively giving everybody else permission to do exactly the same thing. Before we get there, real quick, I do want to say that I don't think that $450 for the Nintendo Switch 2 is an unreasonable price. I was kind of guessing that it would be about $400, $450 with a bundle, and it turned out to be $450, $500 with a bundle. And I don't think that extra $50 is really that big of a deal, especially because you only buy that once. So an extra $50, okay, not a huge deal. There's things out there that are more expensive. There are things out there that are less expensive. It does feel really strange to me to say that the Nintendo Switch 2 is more expensive than the cheapest Xbox. And is it more expensive than the cheapest PlayStation? Or I know that Sony raised their prices of the PlayStation after it came out. I can't remember right now. And I'm not going to stop to look it up. Just, you guys get my point. So Nintendo, $450 for the Switch. But the real issue is the games. So let's talk about the games, because there's two prices that we're really looking at right now. Price one is for Donkey Kong, the new Donkey Kong game, which is what Nintendo, one of the games that they showed off at the Nintendo Direct. And I have to say, it looks awesome. Like when I first saw it, I thought, oh, this looks like Mario Odyssey, which I absolutely loved Mario Odyssey. I don't know if it's my favorite 3D Mario, but it's absolutely up there. It's a really, really fun game. This looks like Mario Odyssey, just starring Donkey Kong instead. And I'm here for it. I'm all for it. And that game's $70. And then you have Mario Kart World, $80. $80 for Mario Kart World. And I can see people saying, I'm not paying $80 for anything. But there's a lot of people out there that do pay $80 for games. There's a lot of people out there that buy the most expensive version of the game every single time it comes out, whatever it is. There's people that spend like $150 for a game because it comes with certain cosmetics. So even if you are uninterested in spending $80 on a game, there's a lot of people that will, and Nintendo knows this. And because Nintendo knows this, and they know that Mario Kart is one of the all-time greatest selling games, they know that they can sell it for that price. And that's why they are willing to charge $80 plus tax, and rumors that it's $90 plus tax for a physical version of the game. But how does that make all the other prices go up? Because there were tons of people there's tons of people who are right now, they're saying, I'm not paying $80 for a game. Well, you might not really have that much of a choice, because I think, there's that phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats. Well, the same goes for prices. If Nintendo is selling a game for $80, then you can bet your ass that Microsoft and Sony and EA and Ubisoft and all these other companies, they're going to sit up and pay attention. And this is not what we originally thought was going to happen. We thought that this was going to happen with GTA 6. GTA 6 brought out their trailer, and instantly it's one of the most viewed videos on YouTube ever. GTA 5 was one of the all-time greatest selling games, just like Mario Kart. And there was a lot of headlines just a few months ago that GTA 6 might sell for $100. And if you go back to when those headlines were everywhere, I said, ain't no way that's happening. Now, they might sell a version of GTA 6 for $100 or even more, but it's not going to be the base price. The base price of GTA 6 will still be at $70. It'll be the worst version, but you'll be able to get, they'll be able to upcharge you for other stuff. They'll sell the online separate in order to sell the single player game for one price and the multiplayer game for another price. You put those two things together, yeah, it's going to be expensive. But now I think I was wrong. I was wrong about these prices because Nintendo essentially just did what everybody said that Rockstar was going to do. So now Rockstar can look at Nintendo and say, well, if Nintendo can sell Mario Kart World for $80, surely we can sell GTA 6 for more than that. And then if Nintendo is selling Mario Kart World for $80 and GTA 6 is getting sold by Rockstar for, we'll say, $100, well, EA and Ubisoft and Microsoft and Square Enix and all these other companies, they're going to say, well, the era of the $70 AAA game is over. It's time for us to push that price up. Will they stop at $80? Will they stop at $90? Will they stop at $100? I don't know. And I think it really depends on what kind of game. I think a lot of times we have multiple price tiers for games. There's the AAA game, which up until recently was $60, but is now $70. That's the big games, And then you've got the games that are AA, usually somewhere between $40 and $50. And then you've got the indies, which are somewhere between $5 and, $30, something like that. And when you look at the industry and the prices, they've always kind of had all of these little separate tiers. But Nintendo just pushed the AAA tier up to $80. And if you look at that as the base model, like that is the base model Mario Kart, although I don't know if they're doing a higher version of Mario Kart. I don't think so, but I wouldn't put it past them. You're going to see the base tier of games is now going to be $80. And all of the extra things that people were already spending over $100 for, those are all going to go up too. And even if you never have touched a Nintendo system, the prices of the games that you want to play are going to go up. And of course, we can, as people who, most of my audience plays games on PC, as people who you play PC games, we constantly have Steam sales and, we're always talking about being a patient gamer and waiting until this game drops in price. And you can do that. But those prices, when they drop, they're not going to drop as much as down to where they are now. Because they're going to do the same percent discount, and all those prices are going to be higher as a result of Nintendo doing this. I think that people are going to still buy the games, and I think that they're going to sell just fine. Now, whether or not Nintendo does this with every game is a completely different story, because I think it is perfectly possible that Nintendo is smart enough to only do this with the kind of games that nobody is really willing to pirate. Like Mario Kart. Why would you pirate Mario Kart World? Then you can't play against people online. Maybe you can. I don't know. I don't pirate stuff. But why would you pirate a game that's online, that has an online focus? It doesn't make sense to me. And maybe that's why Donkey Kong is $70 and Mario Kart World is $80, because there's going to be a lot of people that are willing to pirate a single player game. but not as many people are willing to pirate a multiplayer game because then they couldn't really get the full experience out of that game. The other effect that might happen because of this is maybe people will start to abandon AAA games. I don't see that happening because that is like the pretty graphics are what makes the industry go burr, even though I prefer games that don't look as nice, cost a lot less, and I don't have to play for as long. I don't know why I was doing quotes there. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below, and thank you for watching. From the Nerd Nest, I'm Bill. Stay rad. Bye-bye.